with the first one, and frankly, it's the best place to review this manga anyway because you get literally everything except the romance, which to me is the weakest element of the entire manga anyway. So, moving on. Oh, too many computers. There we go. There we go, okay. So, as you can see here, we've got the cover. And I like to analyze everything in the artwork department, but covers aren't all that important, but I assume you're all familiar with the characters. We've got Kyoko on the right, and with her pop star hair for some reason, because you know we don't even get to that till the exact end of the chapter. And then we move over to shovel-faced Sho in the middle. The whole trope of shoujo heroes having crescent moon faces, I think it's because of this mangaka, because sometimes they're practically concave. I don't know what it is with her faces. And then on the Ren, we have Saruga Ren, who does nothing in the first chapter, so we're just going to move on from him. Alright, now, long ago, God gave every human being on Earth a Pandora's box, and he doesn't expect that to cause any problems.
Of course not.
No, it's not like the first one didn't cause the end of civilization as we know it.
Is this the live manga review?
Yes, indeed it is.
Sweet, I'm in the right place.
You're in the middle of my live manga review.
Do you have any technical issues?
This microphone isn't particularly loud.
Oh, you want to turn it down?
Turn down? No, it's not loud enough.
Oh, not loud enough, so you want to turn it up?
Turn down for what? Yes.
Turn down for what?
Down. Come on,
Speak.
Hey, there we go. Now I can actually hear myself over myself. Okay, so now we move on from the Pandora's box that every single human being has.
Have a good panel.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
A double cheeseburger, medium fries, and a cola. A teriyaki burger, a fish fillet, and a cola. Is that right? Yes, here we have pre-makeover Kyoko doing the blooming smile thing so strongly that she's got a field of sunflowers behind her in a Wendy's. Alright, so one of her coworkers comes and relieves her, and she has to run super fast for her next part-time job, and apparently she can change clothes while running. At her next job's changing room, she bursts in on the exposition brigade, those people in movies who exist only to explain things to the audience or to the characters. Okay, here we're on the right page.
Sho is the only one for me now. But Kuniko, weren't you all into Ren? Well, I've changed my mind. Sho is so much better.
And so on and so forth. Throughout all of this, Kyoko is oddly invested in whatever this Kuniko's defection to the Sho camp. She fist pumps and grows a Pinocchio nose right here. You can see it right there in the little bottom left. That means bragging to the Japanese. I don't know why, and I imagine Pinocchio would confuse them. So she got 2 life-size posters of Sho when she bought his live CD. And this throws Kyoko into a deep depression. Because she didn't get one when she didn't get any posters when she bought the CDs. Alright, you all ready? You ready? Ready? Because this next panel is absolutely hilarious. Spirit! Oh, crud, I messed up the timing. Damn it. Ah, spirit head out of the mouth. And apparently people can see that because her coworker is reacting to her spirit head powers. Alright, and then she descends even lower to the bottom of the ocean. And, okay, I didn't notice this until, like, right now, but her coworker was standing on a table to present those posters to her coworkers in the middle of the break room. She just hopped on the table. Okay. They raise the excellent point that if you still have the receipt for the CD, you could just go to the store and confront them about not getting the poster. Oh, but Kyoko's so nice and polite. She wouldn't start a fight over a poster. Meep, meep. And now Kyoko puts Lance Armstrong to shame, biking straight up the stairs and making all the passersby dive for their lives. Poster, 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 poster. Bang! God, I can't believe this. She rode her bike into a store, through the door, past all the customers, hopped onto the desk, and slammed the tire right over the manager's head. Oh, she almost committed vehicular manslaughter with a bicycle.
That level of speed is like the Thai version of Jimmy John's.
Yeah, no, I honestly have no idea why she is not in, like, a bike team or something. Okay, so now she has her poster, and she is very, very happy about that. But unfortunately, getting the poster has sent her way off of her route, and she has to rush to get to her next job. And the mangaka just skips that supersonic bike ride, and we skip to her next job. Apparently, she made a 40-minute bike ride in 15 minutes. Why is she not on, like, the Japanese cycling team? Doing the female, what's the female equivalent of the Tour de France? Is there such a thing? No? No biking enthusiasts at the anime convention?
I thought Tour de France was co-ed.
It is? I had no idea.
I have no idea. Tour de France ed.
Tour de France.
Et.
Okay. Well, alright, and her boss is, of course, very concerned about her current state of health, and she's falling apart over here, can't even drink water. And then she proceeds to molt her clothes off, because Kyoko is not human and has many strange and wonderful powers. I'll work. If I take even one day off, I can't pay rent. Why do you live in such an expensive apartment? Do you live alone? And Kyoko clams up on that question. Apparently she moved to the big city after graduating middle school and has been working multiple jobs ever since. Because you can do that in Japan. High school is not compulsory. You're always so busy. Don't you want to try dressing up and stuff like the other girls? And based on her face in the bottom panel, I would say yes. Kyoko always loved princess stories. She loved the tales of poor girls in worn-out clothes becoming more beautiful than all and being loved and finding love. Probably a big Cinderella fan, so you probably don't want to show her Maleficent. It would shatter her world view. Now, her spirit hand emerges once again as she fantasizes about all the glorious makeup products she wants to buy. No. My needs come second. No, they really shouldn't. But the lights are on in her apartment, and she dashes excitedly inside. Sho-chan? Oh my god, his legs.
That's like on level with Bayonetta, dude.
His thighs are longer than his shins, and he's about 7 feet tall. They're longer than his torso.
Who's played Bayonetta?
Half of his legs are longer than his torso. Yeah. Bayonetta's got nothing on this guy. So, this is Sho. He lives with Kyoko. They grew up as childhood friends, and she apparently followed him to the city when he left to chase his dreams of stardom. Have you eaten dinner yet? Why wouldn't I have eaten yet? It's already 11. Why don't you have any beer? Well, I don't drink any, and lately I haven't been able to call you when to find out when you're coming home. And then he glares at her for insinuating that he's the problem. I'm busy. Should I put a trigger warning on this? Because this really seems like a classic case of an abusive relationship. Apparently he was quite nice before he got famous, but now all the attention from famous people and girls screaming to have his baby has made him grouchy. Yeah, sure, that's the problem. Attention is the problem. Did I miss a step? Oh yeah, Kyoko runs off to get some food while reminiscing about how she's a small town girl living in a lonely world. But when Sho asks her to follow him on his quest for stardom, she readily agrees. She gets back just in time to see him leaving. I just came for a change of clothes. Wait, I got your favorite pudding! Pudding? I'd make a Bill Cosby joke right about now, but considering the recent events with him, I'm going to avoid that. Yeah, too soon.
Too soon!
Oh man, now that I'm famous, I just can't go into convenience stores anymore. And I couldn't be so uncool as to send someone to buy it for me. Yeah, I call bullshit on that one. That's one of the main benefits of being famous, having underlings run your errands for you. Being famous means that you don't have to do your own laundry, drive your own car, or get your own food. That's what roadies are for, living your life for you so you can focus on being crazy to entertain your fans.
I think he's just embarrassed by the pudding.
Embarrassed by the pudding?
Yeah, it's too cheap. It's not stylish enough for someone famous like him.
I still feel like you should just be like, Roadie, I want this. Get it for me. I am in charge here. So we actually have a nice moment here where Kyoko tells the story of her co-worker's conversion to being a show fan. He gets all arrogant and excited, and he acts very uncool in this scene. It's a genuine moment between them, and it highlights how their relationship was before he got all jerky. They know each other very well, and they play off of each other well. He isn't naturally a jerk, he just let the fame go into his head. But, of course, he goes right back to being a jerk after exposition on the TV gives a report about how much more popular Ren is in comparison to him. This puts him back in a bad mood, and he storms out of the apartment. So next day at work, Kyoko leaves him a message about how even if he isn't #1 on the charts, he's #1 in her heart. She then uses her hitman powers of disguise to sneak into a concert area to deliver Sho some food. And I'm just going to stop right here because we all know where this is going, right? This is going to hurt, it's going to be very painful, but she really believes in him. She really believes he's not going to be an asshole. And, oh God, this is just, I know what's coming and it hurts me. And speak of the devil, Sho got her message. And now Kyoko gets to listen in on some choice words from Sho as he confesses everything to his manager. That girl's been working so hard to take care of you. Oh, I have the gender wrong of the manager. That girl's been working hard to take care of you. Aren't you being a little harsh? Well, what did you expect? I don't know how to clean or cook, and I wasn't going to come to Tokyo and be all helpless. So you brought her just to be your maid? Well, yeah, she's always done what I said without complaint. So of course I brought her instead of someone else. And it's not like I forced her to come. I gave her the option and she chose to follow me. And it's natural she does my housework since being a star is the only work I'm cut out for. What an amalgamation of douche we've got going on right here. Not only is he being a dick to Kyoko, but by his own admission, he isn't capable of doing anything for himself. The girl from Glee, the main girl from Glee, she legitimately wanted stardom. This guy seems to have gone into music because it's the easiest way for him to be weighted on hand and foot. And speaking of feet, let's watch him shovel his own foot down his gullet further. Oh, look, a devil turning the key of a lock to a box. I wonder what that could be a callback to. Why don't you send her back then? You don't really need her anymore, and she isn't even attending high school. All right, I'll send her back, so long as you, oh, good God, their legs. We're getting to a very important part of the plot here, but this needs to be addressed. Sho only seems to have one leg here. He's just got one leg that his entire upper torso is balanced on. And both of their legs are longer than their own torsos. It's like the mangaka drew where their upper bodies were, and then just drew in legs with the straight line tool in Microsoft Paint.
If he stood up, he would be taller than her head sitting down.
Yeah.
It's like just his legs to his hip.
Yeah. Okay, so back on topic. Sho asked to stay at his manager's house. Someone like you is my type. And there go the rest of the locks on Pandora's box. If I'd stayed at home, my parents definitely would have tried to set me up with Kyoko, that makeup-less, unattractive girl. The demon cracks the box just a little bit, and she throws the food at his face.
Yeah.
Even though I was plain and boring, you were the one who brought me to Tokyo, because I was convenient. I see.
Jeez, don't cry. It's annoying.
This guy is an asshole.
She's really creeping me out with this laughing. And the lid flies off of the demon box, and all of the hateful emotions come flying out. She even grabs her angelic emotions in her fist and throws them at his face.
To me, you were everything. I'm going to get my revenge.
You? On me? How? And then she gets taken away by security, Because regardless of how much I desire her revenge, that makes a lot of sense. Security escorting her out of the building before she can grind him into hamburger meat, no matter how much he deserves it. Sho thinks it would be brilliant to taunt her about her powerlessness. I'm gonna get even more famous and reach a place where an ordinary person like you could never reach. If you want revenge, you'd have to break into the entertainment world. Obviously, that's impossible for you. Okay, didn't evil villain laugh, but it seemed appropriate.
Want me to do it?
No, Kyoko isn't the kind of person to be told something is impossible, so the next day she gets herself a makeover. She reveals her new look, with which she shall conquer the entertainment world and then make Shotaro lick her boots in contrition. And, that was the first chapter. So, that came out a little shorter than I was expecting, but that's really just the best place to really be introduced to the manga, because Kyoko's antics really are the highlight of this manga. She is an unstoppable whirlwind of human energy, and I love watching her freak out at the smallest things. She goes into acting and becomes like the best method actor in existence, and then does that really annoying will they, won't they for 200-something chapters with Ren. It's just so frustrating. And Sho comes back and he kind of starts to think maybe I do love her, and oh god. The romance is the weakest element of Skip Beat for my money. Okay.
See, if you take it with hilarity, the romance just adds to it.
Yeah, no,
You
the
just laugh at
romance is a
romance.
good addition to the silliness. But I really think that the manga is at its strongest when it's being silly. Weakest element, aside from the art, which has never been good for this author, I'm sorry to say. I've read other things by them. It's never better. Favorite character, definitely the president of the company who rides in on elephants to his own building. When I was doing this, I read the second chapter again, and oh my god, there's like 2 pages of just black women in full Mardi Gras gear shaking their hips for like 2 pages. It was the weirdest thing I've read in a very long time.
He needs an entourage.
So thank you for joining me. I run a little YouTube show called Eagle Land Manga Reviews, where I review just about everything. And yeah, we got a lot of time left, so anyone got any questions for me? About anything manga related, not anime, because I don't watch it.
What else have you reviewed recently?
The most recent review I did was a special review. Crap, I already forgot.
It was that Christmas manga about somebody becoming
It was
Santa.
my Christmas special, My Sweet Reindeer. Oh, you've read it. Yes, it's got one of the most fascinating Santa mythos in existence.
They were actually laughing about it. They had like a contest in the manga library to see who could read it without like
Without cracking up.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, Santas are apparently random people on the street who bump into magical reindeer people who, when they are connected by a magic leash, the Santa can order the reindeer to do literally anything, including turn into a reindeer that can fly. So come Christmas, they get their magic sack that disgorges presents and a map of houses to visit, and they tell their reindeer to fly them around. And that's apparently how Santa works. All over the world, there's a bunch of Santas with magical reindeers that have to obey their every command. And that's like 3 chapters of the manga. The rest of it is beach scenes. Yeah. It's got a consistent Christmas theme with the reindeer and the Santa outfits, but most of it takes place on a beach during summer because the mangaka admitted she wanted to draw naked people. And that's the only way to get away with it. Before that, I did a Halloween special month where I did Frank and Fran, Hellsing, and School Days. School Days, the manga. Has anyone watched the anime? Because I haven't. School Days, no. I've heard it's very bad, but the manga isn't much better as far as I can tell. So don't read those.
Everybody knows how Helsing went.
Yeah, Hellsing was awesome. Any other questions about any mangas you're interested in?
You said romance was the Miki Solomon-ness. Is there a manga that you think had a strong romance?
Oh, a lot. Romance is hands down my favorite.
Would you
genre.
recommend something for
High
me?
School Debut is my hands down biggest recommendation for romance because it's very accessible, and it's hard to read other high school romances after reading High School Debut because it's just it nails it so much better.
Your standard is set really high.
Yeah, my standard for high school romances is very, very high. If you've got the stomach for some weird elements, I can recommend Nana Takaru. That one's a little weird, but it's got a really, really good sensual romance with a really ugly main guy. Like, he's legitimately short, stocky, and toad-faced. And the girl is, of course, super, super hot, but they make it work. I should warn you, it has bondage in it. But that's just my only warning. And you can't buy it yet. So. Also, if anyone does want to check out Nana Takaru, do not check out the anime. Do not. It's awful. Don't do it. There's a couple live action versions that are okay, but the anime is awful. Don't touch it. Any other genres you want to know about?
What did you think? You said you read some of the other works by the Skip Beat.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Tokyo Aizukan or something. That was really good. Like, the whole gender bending aspect was actually used for a purpose. The girl lives in a society where women are in constant danger of being raped, so her parents raised her to be a boy to avoid that problem. And the guy was hilarious in that one. Like, he does that thing that a Rand High School Host Club does where he forces the girl to continue working for him through debt. And he's just so blatant about it. It's like, oh, you broke that thing. That's $5,000 teacup. Now you have to work for me for another 3 months. And he's just so po-faced about it. And it really evolved a lot as a series. Like, it started out as just this goofy thing, but then it turns into like this huge multi-Yakuza affiliates battling each other with robot people, with like tentacle hair claws. It gets really crazy by the end, but it somehow manages to feel natural. I don't know how it pulled that off. It's funny, and it actually had surprisingly good action come the end with the tentacle hair claws robots. That was well done. That's the only other one I've read by this author, but it's also really long. I don't know what this author's got about dragging stories out forever, but it's a bad habit. Oh, another good romance I could recommend is Bride's Story, if you haven't checked that one out. Bride's Story, it's got the same problem of like the narrative takes forever, but the artwork is just mind-blowing. Like, I cannot get over how well drawn that manga is. It takes place in like Turkey, in like the 1700s with the nomadic tribes, and there's a lot of really intricate embroidery on their clothes, and it's mind-blowing that the author pulls that off, which is good because otherwise I would have dropped it a long time. That's the same person who did Emma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. They actually had it at the manga library. Any other questions? Anyone want to know about action mangas, or does no one particularly care for those here?
I like Slice of Life.
Slice of Life, my #1 recommendation is Yatsubato, but you've probably already started on that.
You mean Yotsubato?
Yotsubato?
I actually
Yeah.
cosplayed her. I love her.
Yeah, that is Cute Kid the manga.
Yes, I love her.
The other one is Yokohama Kaidansho Kuko. Yokohama will get you there. I can't really explain why it's so good because it's a very, very slow one. It's set in the future, but it's set so far in the future that technology peaked, and then I don't know what happened, but humanity ran out of resources. So now, like, the main character is an android, but most people get around in diesel trucks and farm for a living. Like, she was like the last model android that was ever made, and she runs a coffee shop out in the middle of nowhere. It's very odd. It's got a lot of high sci-fi elements, but for the most part, it's just people living very rural lives in a world that's like condensing, as it were. Like,
all of humanity is just not having enough kids to keep the population rising. It's kind of the autumn of humanity's existence. It was one of the most touching reads I've ever had. And it's so hard to explain why it was good. It's one of those ones that you really have to read the whole thing. Like, reading parts of it just won't give you an impression. It's very pretty, though.